On this episode of Locked On Angels, Travis d'Arnaud is an angel. Apparently, Perry talked to Jonathan, and John got what he wanted. And the Halos add a valuable veteran backup catcher to this growing roster, and a lot of good things with d'Arnaud and Logan O'Hoppe. That relationship is going to be great. We're going to talk about d'Arnaud, why they added him, his influence on Logan O'Hoppe, and what happens to Matt Thaiss. It's time to get locked on with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Matt Thaiss, B-button swing, and you're out. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SiriusXM by searching Locked On Angels. And if you'd like to get back to the Super Halo Bros for all the Super Halo content, here's some things that you can do. Leave us a rate and a review on Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe and become a Locked On Everydayer. And whether you're watching or listening, come over to YouTube and leave a comment. It's one of the best ways to get in touch with us and be a part of the conversation. And this episode of Locked On Angels is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you're going to get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Thanks for being here for this episode of Locked On Angels, where it's your team every day. You've got the Frisch Brothers here with you, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Hey, it's our third off season here at Locked On Angels. We are lifelong fans of the Halos, have been since birth, basically. I mean, you know, you're the one who got me into the Angels, Mike, so thanks a lot for that. No, I'm just kidding. But we are happy to be your hosts of Locked On Angels. And of course, we're here 5 days a week talking Angels baseball, Monday through Friday, every single weekday until about mid-December. We'll drop down to 3 episodes a week. But until then, we're here covering all the news. In fact, today's big news came out yesterday, and it was the Angels signing Travis d'Arnaud as a backup catcher to Logan O'Hoppe. Mike, let's get into the details.
Yeah, this was something that you actually wanted to have happen on your GM show. You are a prophet, John. And I invited you into the Angels cult, and now you're a prophet. How about that? So.
Perry Minasian, confirmed everydayer. Let's go.
Travis d'Arnaud signed a 2-year, $12 million deal with the Angels. He's going to be 36 when the season starts. He's a veteran catcher. He's got a World Series ring with the Braves. Here's a fun fact, Johnny. He was a part of the trade that sent Roy Halladay to the Phillies, and then he was a part of the trade that sent R.A. Dickey to the Blue Jays. So this guy has got some great names connected to him.
Cue the Benjamin Button aging gif where, you know, he ages. He's a young man at the end of the movie, and then he turns back into an old man.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I hear, oh yeah, he was a prospect when Roy Halladay and R.A. Dickey were traded. Yeah, that's how I feel.
It's wild when you see baseball players that are younger than you. That hit me when Rafael Furcal was younger than me when I was like 22 and he started at 19. The Braves did decline d'Arnaud's $8 million club option for 2025. So what can we expect, Johnny, out of this signing with Travis d'Arnaud and how he will impact this roster?
Yeah, there's a lot of details to get to here. First and foremost, don't worry, everybody. He is a backup catcher to Logan O'Hoppe.
Yes.
That's important to note because I saw some tweets that were like, we already got a catcher.
Yeah.
Hold on. Logan's not going anywhere. Don't worry about that.
Right.
He started 79 games with the Braves as a catcher last year. Remember, Sean Murphy was hurt a lot of last season. He ended up with a .238 batting average, .302 on base percentage, .437 slugging. You like that. And a .739 OPS. Mike, he had a 103 OPS plus. That means his bat was, slightly above league average. And when you're a backup catcher, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Swatted 15 home runs, 16 doubles, and 48 RBI. He started last year off really strong with 18 starts across March and April with a 950 OPS and 5 home runs. And then he went off in July across 12 starts. Listen to this line: a .370 batting average, .420 on base, .652 slugging, and a 1,072 OPS. So
we'll take it.
He went off in July. Now, here's the caveat.
Yeah.
In both August and September, he hit 184, and he started 12 games in each of those months, hitting exactly 184 in both of those months.
Yeah, but backup catcher, right?
Right.
That's his role, and he's not supposed to play the entire season. He's going to be somebody that's going to take the load off of Logan O'Hoppe. Read a stat yesterday, John. Logan O'Hoppe at one point started 81% of the Angels games behind the plate. So this will give him a chance to get him off his feet, have him DH. There's been some talk about, hey, maybe he plays first base, or, like maybe moves in that direction, but at least is the DH for some time, but gives him a day off, which is great. The biggest thing about dArnaud, John, is his defensive metrics as a catcher, as a backup catcher. So let's compare him to Logan O'Hoppe. So blocks above average, dArnaud was 3 last year in 2024. O'Hoppe was 1. Thaiss was 4. So Thaiss was actually the best out of that. Now, smaller sample size for Matt Thaiss, bigger sample size for dArnaud and Logan O'Hoppe. Caught stealing above average, dArnaud was a 1. O'Hoppe was not showing off, not lagging behind. He was a 0. Matt Thaiss was a -2. And framing runs above average, dArnaud, 0. O'Hoppe, -2. Thaiss, -3. And then here's one of the things that we've talked about on this show multiple times, pop time. So as soon as the ball hits the glove, them jumping up, throwing it down to second base. dArnaud, 1.98 seconds, John. O'Hoppe, 2.02 seconds. And then Thaiss, 2.01 seconds. So a lot of good numbers there. dArnaud really has some good defensive metrics and is somebody that will be, on the defensive side specifically, a good improvement over Matt Thaiss and even Logan O'Hoppe when he's in there.
Yeah, when you're 35 years old, you're going to see that pop time go down, or I should say go up, because you're getting a little bit slower. So for him to be better than both O'Hoppe and Thaiss means that there's probably something he can teach the younger O'Hoppe on how to improve that pop time and also improve behind the dish as well. Mike, let's get into why this makes sense for the Halos. dArnaud is going to bring a wealth of experience to the team. That's what's been missing in the catching duo, is a veteran catcher. I know a lot of people said, well, what about Chad Wallach? Why not bring him up? You're getting a better Chad Wallach out of Travis dArnaud, right? Somebody who's been around the majors for a long, long time, World Series champion, has lots of playoff experience, and he's somebody who can guide our young pitching staff through a game in terms of calling pitches and knowing when to go out to the mound, knowing when to settle guys down. And related to that, he's somebody who can teach Logan O'Hoppe and turn him into a leader. Plus, you mentioned it, as a backup catcher, O'Hoppe is going to get some time off of his feet, and he clearly ran out of steam at the end of the season. What'd you say? 81% of catching starts went to O'Hoppe. I mean, that's huge. And now you have this guy who is a backup that can contribute not only defensively, but even offensively. I mean, if he's going to swat 15 timely home runs in the few starts that he gets, I think that's going to be a very good thing. And again, you don't have like a huge hole in the lineup anymore if Logan O'Hoppe is not behind the dish. Maybe this opens up the door for O'Hoppe to have some DH days as well, because now you can trust dArnaud behind the plate.
Yeah, I love this tweet, by the way, from Wayne Randazzo. He said, I was chatting with Wash this season about the development of Logan O'Hoppe, and I asked him, who's the ideal catcher that Logan should try and work with and maybe even have on the team? And he said, Travis dArnaud. That's what Wash said. And dArnaud is somebody, and you mentioned it on your GM show, and I've seen a lot of information out there about it. dArnaud was the guy that got the pitchers ready for the Braves. It wasn't Sean
Murphy.
Their starter. Yeah, Sean Murphy. Thank you. Their starter, Sean Murphy. It was him. He was getting them ready, and he was preparing them, and he was getting the game plan out there. And so I think that you're going to start to see with dArnaud around, and it's a 2-year deal, I think you're going to start to see some leaps that Logan O'Hoppe is going to take as a leader for this pitching staff. Because what I appreciated about O'Hoppe last year, Johnny, is that he said there were some games I put down the wrong finger, right? I made the wrong call on that pitch. And he's learning how to be a catcher, and he's also learning how to hit. He's learning how to be a leader. He's learning to be like the Mike Piazza in the lineup, right? The guy who's got a great bat and then is going to play some good defense and is going to really handle the pitching staff. So this is going to be a benefit to Logan O'Hoppe. Why it wasn't Chad Wallach is because Chad Wallach doesn't bring what Travis d'Arnaud brings. And I think a part of that is a World Series ring, a lot of experience. There's a reason why Chad Wallach is bouncing back and forth between AAA and the major league level, right? And so I think the Angels recognize that, and maybe that would have been a good move if you're swapping him and Thaiss, but now you're swapping Thaiss for a guy who brings a whole lot of experience. He's got a good bat. Gosh, if he can put up half of those numbers as a backup this season, then we're not dropping in that lineup when that catching spot comes up.
Yeah, in fact, I think that the tandem of O'Hoppe and dArnaud is exactly what you want from a catching duo. Yeah. You have a young stud catcher who offensively brings a lot to the table and then gives up a little bit in the defensive department. So what do? You supplement that with a veteran backstop who not only can be better behind the dish, but can help Logan O'Hoppe get better behind the dish. I mean, gosh, you want to be Buster Posey. Right? Yeah. In this day and age, you want to be Logan O'Hoppe, you want to be Buster Posey, and you want to get to the point where not only are you good behind the dish, but you're also an offensive contributor as well. Speaking of offense, I love this tweet from Locked On Angels Hall of Famer Taylor Blake Ward. He said, since 2021, Travis d'Arnaud, his 380 WOBA, that means weighted on base average, and 142 weighted runs created plus against left-handed pitchers, that means 42% better than league average, 142 against lefties, are top 25 across all of Major League Baseball. Second amongst catchers. Angels were notably bottom third in the league last year against left-handed pitchers. So you can supplement your righty-lefty splits as well, and you can be a little bit more strategic. You can get O'Hoppe off of his feet. You can give d'Arnaud those at-bats against lefties as a pinch hitter, and then he can come in and catch for you the remainder of the game. Lots to like here, Mike, and I'm not just saying that because I called it on my GM show, but I mean, look, there's intangibles here. Yeah. There's things that you can't quantify, and there's things that aren't going to show up on Baseball Reference, but they're things that are much needed with this team. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Coming up on Locked On Angels, Perry's strategy in terms of adding Travis d'Arnaud. Why does this fit? Why does it make sense when you hear the words from Perry Minasian? Also, what becomes of Matt Thaiss and Max Fried to the Halos? What? Let's talk about that. We'll get into all of that coming right up.
Locked On Angels is brought to you by SelectQuote. In sports, winning is everything, and that's why you always need a good strategy, hint, hint, Perry, a good strategy to keep you moving forward towards victory. A winning strategy for life is just as important, especially when it comes to protecting your legacy and your family's financial future. That's why you need SelectQuote on your team. SelectQuote is one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years of experience, helping over 2 million customers find over $700 billion in coverage since 1985. 1985? Doc, we're back. Other life insurance brokers have impersonal, one-size-fits-all policies that may cost you more and cover you less. But SelectQuote, their licensed insurance agents work for you to tailor a life insurance policy for your individual needs in as little as 15 minutes. And if you're in good health, they work with carriers that could get you same-day coverage for up to $5 million with no medical exam required. And these policies are more affordable than you think. You can get covered for up to $1 million for as little as $20 per month. So head to SelectQuote.com/lockedon, and a licensed insurance agent will call you right away with the right policy for your life and your budget. That's SelectQuote.com/lockedon to get started. SelectQuote, they shop and you save.
This is the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And everydayers, if you want to contribute to the show, help Mike and I directly, head on over to our merch store. We have the link in the episode description, whether you're watching or listening. In fact, Mike, would you mind doing me a little favor as I demonstrate the fly ball design, our Super Halo Bros fly ball t-shirt. Oh, can't go too far. The headphones are in.
Right.
Yeah, here we go.
That looks really good. John's wearing the white t-shirt with the Super Halo Brothers on the front of it. Us making a catch in the outfield. More likely, I would have made the catch than John. I'm a little bit faster, a little bit better. But it's a great shirt. You can find that online. There's a lot of different colors. But I like the white, John. The white looks good on you.
The white looks good. And I also have the ocean blue where it's you and I standing and you're batting or no, I'm batting, you're throwing. It's good times. So head on over to the merch store, grab yourself a Super Halo Bros tee, and maybe my GM luck will rub off on you if you get yourself a t-shirt.
Johnny Perry Minasian was with our friends on Foul Territory on Monday.
Yeah.
And he said some very interesting things about player development. And we think a lot of this has to do with the dArnaud move that kind of fits into that philosophy. He was asked about bringing up young players really fast. And Perry said, philosophically, it's all about makeup. And that's why we bring up these young players. The mental side, who can handle it, who can't. They believe that they can handle the ups and downs of the season, and we're going to bring them up and have them play. Building winning teams starts with a young core. That was what was missing when Perry said he got there. They're at the beginning stages of building the young core. The amateur coaching staff pays attention to the guys who know how to handle the ups and downs and come in prepared for work.
Yeah, here's a key thing that he said that really stood out to us. First of all, the idea that the Angels are in the beginning stages of building a young core. Mike, is excited as we are for O'Hoppe and Neto and Kohanowitz and some of the guys that are up and coming, some of the guys who have already been there. I'm reassured to hear Perry say, no, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning stages of that. In fact, he said, I think Halo fans are going to enjoy what's coming in the next few years. It also tells me, and I know I don't want to get off topic here, but it also tells me that for as much fear as people have about, oh, they're going to trade prospects away, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Perry did say that, hey, if we want to make a trade, we actually have the prospect capital to do that now. But I also don't think they're going to compromise future for right now. And I think that has a lot to do with they're going to continue to build the young core.
And can I just throw this out there since we're a bit off topic? We'll get back on in just a moment. But that sounds like a strategy, smells like a strategy, John, where he is building a young core and he's working really hard to make sure that the young core is actually a talented core that can handle the major league day in, day out stuff that a lot of the Billy Epler guys have not been able to handle. And so if that's where he's going, that for me is great. And it's something that I mentioned at the end of yesterday's show. The narrative around this team, at least in how they're talking, seems to be a bit different than it was last year and even the year before. And I wonder if it's because they have a little bit of flexibility, not a lot of pressure, flexibility with this roster to get some young guys in and add some veterans, but not a lot of pressure to try to get somebody to the playoffs. It sounds like that pressure is really not something that's driving them anymore.
Well, and it's also Perry knows he has a job for the next 2 years. And he also knows that Artie Moreno is in favor of what Perry has done in terms of building a young core, because that's what the Angels have needed for so long. The sad part is, Mike, it's 6-7 years too late, right? If we had this young core when they first signed Ohtani, when they first extended Trout, it would have been a much different situation.
Sure.
However, they're getting it done now, and it's what we've needed for a very long time. Another thing that stood out, Mike, was that his goal is to surround young talent with the right players from a talent standpoint and a makeup standpoint. And when he says makeup, he's talking about mental toughness, preparedness, doing all the things that you need to do to make sure you're ready to play ball when, that first pitch is thrown. And to me, that's exactly where the Angels are right now. They need talent and guys who have been there around the young core. We keep saying that they were missing the difference maker. And I believe that adding dArnaud is a difference maker because it does both of those things. It gives them a talented player who can accomplish stuff on the field, but also from that makeup standpoint, it's the mental toughness. It's showing guys how to prepare yourself each day. It's showing that you belong in the locker room. And Perry made it clear when they bring up guys like O'Hoppe and Neto and Shawnuel, it's because they know how to handle the adversity and know how to be major leaguers. Yes, there's plenty to learn, but at the same time, they've proven that they can handle it. But here's the thing about adding dArnaud. They needed a backup catcher. Matt Thaiss isn't going to cut it.
Right.
They needed a veteran backup catcher specifically. One who's not going to be a hole in the lineup. One who can help O'Hoppe grow as a catcher and a team leader, because dArnaud's here for 2 years. And then O'Hoppe is going to be the guy that people turn to. They are already doing it, Mike. They're already looking at him as a captain. And if he learns from dArnaud, that's going to make a huge difference. And dArnaud brings a set of tools. I mentioned this before. You can't quantify this stuff. Experience, leadership, mentorship, and game calling. All of those things are valuable things that, again, you're not going to see on Baseball Reference. It's only things that you can see actually happening on the field in front of you.
I love this tweet from Aaron Burkhart. He said that the Angels' 3 biggest acquisitions thus far, Soler, Hendricks, and dArnaud, have a combined 99 games of playoff baseball between them. Clear that Perry wants guys who know what it takes to get there and do what's necessary once they're there. So, Johnny, I really like Perry's approach. I know that he's not done. And so those fans that are thinking just from a stats perspective, like, well, what about this guy? He doesn't hit much. And how's he going to help this team? Or what about pitching? And those kinds of questions. This is what I love about Perry, is that he is rolling out some really good veteran experience on this team. Yes, we're going to need pitchers that perform. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yes, we're going to need hitters that perform. Those, I believe, are coming. What this tells me, John, is that Perry's really confident in this young core. He's really confident in the 4 guys that they're building around, 5 guys that they're building around. And that helps me to go, okay, maybe there's something I haven't seen, or maybe that first year of development, they saw that as well. They really took some big steps forward. And now 2025 will be an opportunity for them to just go out and play and be the player that they were designed to be.
Yeah, I know they had Kevin Pillar, and then they had Hunter Strickland. Like, those veteran guys, I think, were definitely a benefit behind the scenes. And Hunter Strickland was great on the mound last season. But for the most part, Mike, I think you can look at 2024 and say, okay, this is what happens when you have a team of nearly all 20-somethings, or at least nearly all under 30, right? Because that's the main group of players on this team. You end up with a 63-99 record. And you end up with, Neto getting frustrated at the plate and letting that affect his play at shortstop on defense. You end up with that because these guys are maturing. They're learning the game on the field, and they're also learning how to be major leaguers. And at the same time, you look at what happened in 2024, and yeah, that's what happens when you have a group of 25 and under, maybe 26 and under, as your main cast of characters. And so, like we've been tooting this horn for a long time, they need difference makers. They need veteran leadership and experience around them. And then you start to see things even out, right? You see these young guys learn from these veterans. You see the veterans want to compete because they want to, keep up with the young guys, or at least say, hey, I like these young guys that are playing on the field next to me. Like, we got some studs on this team and we can actually do something. So I think everybody benefits, and I think everybody can really improve this season because everybody is working hand in hand. Young guys and the veterans are all learning this together, having the experience together. I think it's going to be a really good thing.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I love the veteran experience that's on this team, and looking forward to what could potentially be the next big move, which, John, we'll talk about in the final segment, because there are some rumors because of this decision that tie us to some other pitchers. And so we have some thoughts about that.
Oh, speculate away, baby. Let's go.
Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app is going to give you everything that you need to place live bets on all kinds of sports, especially the NFL. It's all in one place. You get a hunch in the middle of the game. You can check out the live stats. You can check out the play-by-play and so much more on the same page that you place your bets, so that you can be really smart when you're betting. So visit FanDuel.com to join today. Again, you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
So what happens now to Matt Thaiss? Now that there's a backup catcher on the roster, do the Angels carry 3 catchers? Do they move them around? Well, here is what MLB.com's Rhett Bollinger tweeted earlier. He said, Perry Minasian said they're also determining what to do with catcher Matt Thaiss, who is out of options. They could look to move him or have him play multiple positions. That's an important point, Mike, because some people said, well, he just needs to go down to AAA and just have him in storage, but he's out of options. So he's either going to get claimed off waivers, or the Angels could figure out some sort of trade. But then there is that point that Perry Minasian made in terms of Matt Thaiss playing a different position, which could warrant them having 3 catchers on the roster. But Thaiss has played third base and first base the most, other than catcher. In fact, in 2019, he played third base in 43 games. However, he did have a .909 fielding percentage. So that's well below what you want in terms of that, 975 is kind of pushing it, 980 and above is where you kind of want to be. Mike, Matt Thaiss, new position or trade?
I would trade him. And the reason why I would trade him is because I would love to see Matt Thaiss get an opportunity to play every day with the Marlins or play every day with the A's.
Hold on.
Right?
I'm gonna throw this to you, Mike. Hold on. It's there it goes. Okay. It's coming down. It's coming in.
Got it.
There it is. All right. Got it.
That was your throw home from home to the pitcher, the lob, the loopy throw, right? And
if I don't have to watch that this season, I will.
He has moved so many different positions, and the fielding percentage alone is an indication. Like he's gonna have to relearn third base, and where else is he gonna play? Is he gonna back up Shawnuel at first? I don't know. I don't know if he is right. But even if he is,
that's 2 lefties.
Even if he is, Shawnuel's not gonna miss a lot of games over there, and Thaiss is somebody that I think needs consistent at bats because he does have a good bat. His lefty bat could be a good bat in the lineup for a team that doesn't really have somebody that's a strong catcher or doesn't really have somebody that's a strong DH. He could be somebody that could potentially get 15 to 20 home runs with consistent ABs. I just think that what Perry needs to do is it's time to wipe the table clean of the old culture. This is not a knock on Matt Thaiss, but it's time to just wipe the table clean with old culture and old players. And it's time to refresh this roster and bring in guys that are ready to win and guys that are young and hungry to win, like a Christian Moore. I think it's time to move in that direction. And all of his moves are an indication, like he's bringing in experience, he's bringing in knowledge. And I think that the move to get Thaiss off of this roster would be a wise one because I think they would be stuck with what to do with him. And then when he's playing third base, it'll be 3-2, top of the 9th, Angels are up, 2 outs, runner at second, Ben Joyce on the mound, ground ball to third, and it goes under his glove, or he can't get it. That's going to happen. And he's already struggled with his awareness as a catcher, stepping on the plate, getting in the way, those
catcher's interference.
Yes. And I just think that you're going to teach him again at the major league level to play a different position. Doesn't sound like a good strategy to me.
Bad idea. Yeah. And I think that there's a lot of value for Matt Thaiss. It's just his first year of arbitration this year, and he's expected to get about $1.5 million in arbitration. And so the Angels can also decide to non-tender him and let him become a free agent somewhere else. But I think there's value there. And again, like you said, it just drives me nuts because nobody has, I don't know if it's sunk in for him or if people have really tried to correct him or if they've even cared. But the A button swing, where it's just power swing, same spot, same location every time, man. If he makes contact, he's a big boy.
He's 3 for 4 with a home run and a couple of doubles.
No
right?
kidding. Yeah. And so, to me, if somebody on another team can help him with his swing, and also, to be honest, like he caught a ton of games in 2023 because O'Hoppe went down. It was him and Chad Wallach. He really stepped up. But at the same time, I think Thaiss, if he could just figure things out at the plate, I think he could be really valuable to a team out there.
Yeah. One point that came up yesterday, John, with this dArnaud move was, does this open the door to Max Fried? Now, he was born in Santa Monica. It's actually a good song. And he was at Harvard Westlake High School. And he was somebody that has roots here. And there was a lot of conversation about dArnaud being somebody who caught Max Fried more than any other pitcher on that roster and any other pitcher in baseball. In fact, dArnaud has caught 409 1/3 innings from Max Fried, and Max has thrown a 2.62 ERA when dArnaud is behind the plate, and hitters only have a 591 OPS against Fried when dArnaud catches him. John, is Max Fried on his way to being a Halo? Not just because dArnaud's here, but because he's a former Brave, and Perry Minasian only works with apparently his former team, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Look, I had no belief that Max Fried would even be an option for the Angels this offseason. And if this helps open the door for that, I think it's a great move. Look, I love the dArnaud move because of everything we discussed. But if this is some incentive for Max Fried to come here and help rebuild the starting rotation, help contribute to the Angels culture, and be something great in the next few years. Look, we talk about it all the time. You got Corey Seager and Marcus Semien joining, the 62 win Rangers of 2022 or of 2021. And then they were awful in 2022. And then they won the World Series in 23. The best players don't always go to the best teams.
Sure.
It's going to come down to what you can offer, the money, the comfortability, the family situation, all that stuff. And I think people just see the numbers and just see the records, and that's what they base, like, well, why would anybody want to come to the Angels? Right. I don't know, but maybe somebody wants to live in Southern California again. Maybe somebody wants to help a team get better and be part of that movement. I mean, Fried's already been part of this Braves team that went to the World Series. Why not go and do that somewhere else? I don't hate this. I think that it really opens up the door for Fried to come here. I'm not going to hold out hope, but I would certainly take it. What about you?
Yeah. I wonder if is there a qualifying offer connected to him?
Oh, you know what? That's something. Let me look that up. That's important. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I think that if there is, I wonder if that's going to be a hesitation. Now that's just a second round pick if they do sign him, but the Angels have had some really strong second round picks over the last few years, especially with Perry being around. So the qualifying offer, I think, is something that's going to have to be. Yep, there is, huh?
There is one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be something that they'll have to sacrifice that if they're going to sign Max Fried and be confident. But I think if Max is on this team, he certainly does bring a top of the rotation quality starter, and then you follow him up with a Tyler Anderson, and then a Soriano, and then a Kahanowitz. I mean, you've got a really good 4 right there, and the Angels haven't had a really good 4 in a really long time. And so, I mean, since like Dan Herron and Zach Greinke and those guys, right? And so I think that if they do make that move, they'll have to go against the philosophy that they've been talking about with building the future and not sacrificing that. And so I wonder if a Max Fried deal is worth a qualifying offer.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. For your second listen, find Locked On MLB. Baseball guru Sully brings a daily blend of humor and baseball, keeping you updated on every rumor and story throughout the offseason. Find Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. You
can follow us on Twitter at Locked On Angels, and you can connect with John and I on Twitter and Instagram at Super Halo Bros. And you're going to want to do that because we have an interesting conversation tomorrow. John, I did a deep dive, and you helped me with this. We tried to convince ourselves that the Kyle Hendricks signing was a really good signing. And what we found was some really good things. Tomorrow, we're going to tell you what we found. And then we're going to tell you if we're convinced that this was a good signing. So join us tomorrow on Locked On Angels.
All right, friends. We hope you'll come back and join us. Until then, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Thanks for being here with us, and we'll see you back here on Thursday.
Max Fried. Is he worth it? Is he worth it?
I think so.
All right.